Hey guys, Rachel from Past Building Consultants here. Today I'm going to take a look at gradients and how to work these out. These are really important for SDA or Specialist Disability Accommodation properties because you've got very stringent requirements in terms of steepness of ramps or walkways, landings required and what have you. So this video is probably aimed at maybe some SDA assessors who aren't necessarily so confident in checking plans and just need a bit of help with how you kind of work things out, or maybe even SDA self-providers perhaps who aren't maybe as used to working with surveyors levels and that kind of thing and working out gradients. It's also good just for builders to check as well, I think, just to double check to make sure that everything is going to comply. So on the blackboard behind me, I've sort of given the workings out of how you work out your gradient as a ratio, because that's normally how they're expressed. And I've put on here an example. I haven't put the figures on here because I will run through the figures with you, of a gradient. We've got the length that I'll talk to you about, and also the RLs. There's an RL at the top and an RL at excuse me, RL at the bottom and an RL at the top. Excuse me, sorry. You need to work out the difference between those, and then we can work out what the gradient is. So what's an RL? An RL is a reduced level or a relative level, and it's a land surveying term. So the relative level or reduced level is the height at that particular point above a datum point, and the datum point is in relation to mean sea level. So in this case, let's put some figures to these RLs. So at the top of the ramp, we'll say, or the top point that we need to get to, say the dwelling entrance, is 3.3 metres above mean sea level, and then the bottom RL is 2.5 metres above mean sea level. So that's going to give us a difference in height of 0.8 metres or 800 millimetres. Then on the plan, if they've already shown a ramp length on the plan, you take the length of the ramp, which say is 15 metres, and then divide that by the height difference. So 15 metres divided by 0.8 is going to give you a gradient of 1 in 18.75. So 1 in 18.75 means it's going to fall into the ramp category and not a walkway. And that means that you're going to have to provide things like TGSIs, for example. So your gradients are very important, and you've really only got between 1 in 14 and 1 in 20 to play with. So 1 in 14 is the maximum gradient that you have. Try not to work to your maximums though, and again I talk about this all the time because it's easy to refer to something on a plan and say that complies, but if something happens on site or maybe the levels are slightly different for whatever reason, then you need to sort of just allow for that extra little bit of wiggle room to make sure that you're not going to be non-compliant when it comes to the building completion. So if you can allow for a little bit of extra scope for having a shallower gradient, then please try and do so if you possibly can, so that you're minimising potential risk down the track. So that's how to work out your ratio of 1 in whatever the gradient needs to be. If you need to work out how long a ramp needs to be, then what you would do in that case is you'd multiply the gradient required. So say you needed to multiply 1 in 20 because you're looking at a 1 in 20 gradient. I would take 1 in 21 and 1 in 22. If you're trying to achieve a maximum gradient of 1 in 20, try and work to 1 in 21 or 1 in 22, just so that again you know that you're going to fall within the walkway category, not ramps. So multiply that by the gradient required, so the height difference multiplied by the gradient required, and that will give you the length of your ramp or walkway. Be mindful, and I'll cover this in another topic because I want to keep this one short. Be mindful that of course the steeper the gradient, the closer together your landings are going to need to be. So you've got, for a 1 in 14 ramp, you're going to need to have landings at 9 metres, whereas walkways at 1 in 20, you're looking at 15 metres. Excuse me. So just be careful that obviously your gradients are going to be in relation to other aspects of the ramp as well, such as your landings, TGSIs, that kind of thing. That's it guys, I hope that was useful. So the workings out are here if you want to check your gradients. If you're not sure about anything, drop me a line, give me a call, I'm more than happy to help. I'm still getting over this cold. It is a cold, I got tested. So yeah, if you're not sure about anything, then by all means do get in touch with me and reach out if you've got any other topics you would really like me to cover. SDA, we're all learning in this space, and we at Past Building Consultants are really looking at just informing and smoothing out the process at the design and build stage so that we can get as much best practice SDA out there as soon as possible for participants, and just trying to make that process as smooth as possible and reduce risk. And if I can't help you, then I will certainly try and find someone who can. We're really big on networking and being able to sort of, you know, have contacts that if I'm not a specialist in that particular area, that we can find someone who can help you, because there are so many people out there doing wonderful things in this space in terms of really good quality SDA from the beginning of the process right up to the end. So we're all about getting SDA built as much as possible in Australia. So I'll leave you with that for now, and I'll speak to you soon. Thanks, bye.